Hey you guys, it's MJ from Alta Love. How are you? I am on fire this morning. I've just been broadcasting on Facebook and then Instagram and now here on YouTube. Now, some of you guys know myself and Team Love are are coming off of social media. So partly, I guess it's a practice again in everything we do, which is sort of accessing higher consciousness. And as I've been unplugged from mainstream for almost 10 years. And my business partner, well, she unplugged properly, basically, when she read the book and joined the tribe and then joined the team. So, being unplugged completely. And now, because unplugging from mainstream radically increases your awareness and like mental focus, I think what happens is that momentum builds and like suddenly even all of the like social media stuff becomes a little bit of a distraction, I guess, from like enjoying life and living life. And so there's been this transition of like moving and working towards this sort of goal. And I guess you realize you reach a goal, you don't need certain habits, behaviors, and patterns anymore. So it feels exciting. It feels quite exciting to be able to step away from social media and simply focus on creating amazing content for you guys, videos and courses. And that's something that we're working on is lots of online courses. So there's 4 courses, which creates the foundational pillars. And each course offers people an access, basically, a kind of into higher consciousness. It's a way to increase awareness and and each one tackles, I would say, different themes in the collective. So um, for this collective intuitive energy report, and the reason I lead into that is that this access into higher consciousness is really about a new rise of leaderships or leadership in the world. And what we're going to be observing is this really radical kind of quantum leap in, firstly, how we relate to ourselves, and then how we relate to one another, and then that's going to extend into the broader collective on a world level. And we're really restructuring um, our worlds through this higher perspective or new perspective. And not just now, but this really is, I would say, the turning point, the beginning of a brand new phase for the kind of basic operations of the planet. So distribution of resources and the economic stranglehold, that's going to start to melt. That's going to start to dissipate a little bit because people's awareness and people's consciousness is changing so fast that we're going to start to see a radical shift in how people are spending money. And then from that, a lot of sort of corruption and corporate greed will continue to be exposed, and then lids will be lifted. So more awareness is going to bombard humanity with regards to consumption and substance. So what we consume, that includes obviously what we drink and eat, what we put in our mouths, but of course, what we're consuming in every area. So newspapers, we might see a lot of media companies go bust if they're not upholding um, integral standards, you could say. And then the birthing of a lot of new agencies and the birthing of a lot of new modalities of exchange. And this has all been happening. This has all been flowing and happening ultimately like over time. It's because the reality, as we know, is really always a simultaneous thing. It's all happening here now in the moment, and it's all from within the one perspective. So it is quite a radical shift to break free from the masses, which is the masses under the veil of the program of enslavement, and then chasing the dream, right? Because you can, if uh, it don't matter, it don't matter. So once we wake up and we realize that we're just on this hamster wheel chasing nothing, we get off the hamster wheel. And then sometimes maybe we hurt our knee or arm or something by jumping off, and then we just have to we kind of have to shake ourselves off and step onto our feet again. And you know, if we ripped our jeans, maybe we want to fix those. So once we jump off that hamster wheel, there's just a little bit of a process of coming back up to our feet again, coming back to our standing position and figuring out who we are on solid ground, right? Figuring out who we are with a new perspective and a clear perspective of, okay, I just jumped off this hamster wheel, which under the mask told me I had to be on the hamster wheel to belong, but a bunch of friends and people appear to have jumped off, so I'm going to join them and jump off too. That's what we're seeing, right? We're seeing and witnessing a mass exodus. We're seeing the crumbling of that 9 to 5, again, corporate mechanistic working life, and we're seeing people and then hence internet web, online entrepreneurship, that's shifting the grid, as it were. It's people are claiming their freedom and breaking free from that, and not to mention that is inefficient. Now we're recognizing that treating our bodies like machines and treating one another like disposable numbers for some illusory bottom line is not great. Again, that modality, the industriousness of that, served its purpose for our progress, like for our sense of moving forward and achieving certain material standards for our lives, and that all of that has been useful. And for me personally, like, still definitely been reflecting back and working through any underlying anger I have against the system or against progress or even against like a mechanistic worldview, harmonizing all of that and just being the presence that I am and holding that love, compassion for self, and then extending it naturally to other. So all I'm hearing is like, it's time, and it's time for us to just keep stepping into our power. Just like letting go and forgiveness and non-judgment, all of this is like just a continual work in progress. So it's like all the stuff. So if I take my life as an example, all the stuff I've been working toward for like my whole life, but then since as adulthood and like at the early awakenings, and then more like potently and accelerated and increasingly so in the last couple of years, and honoring all that, continuing to move in that direction, recognizing where I might have gotten distracted before, where I gave my power away before, and like keep claiming that power back to be that expression, and then allow the life to guide and manifest and show up the way it's meant to keep me on that path, right? And now it's like surrender. It's total surrender to that path, and expressing myself intuitively with you guys and sharing just from my heart, and wanting people to feel like they're not alone when they go through the awakening process, and really just making the Fearless Life Guide, All to Love, and the Fearless Life Tribe as accessible as possible. And I'm just so excited to launch these courses. I think they're really aligned with the movement of the planet and what people are desiring, the kind of changes people are desiring to see. So we're just helping people to be the change. And that's what the course content is called. So it's happening, you guys. Like, all these changes are really, really happening, and the framework for these changes are actually just happening from within ourselves, because there isn't really an external reality. It's all happening from within. And I guess as an update and a collective energy insight, I shared this on Facebook, but one thing that I'm really feeling, which I can just hold in myself and then reflect back to you guys, that if you're having any of these sorts of experiences, it's okay. It's normal, and it's part of the transformation. But to really from within yourself get quite lost, or I expressed it as like the fabric or the nature of reality, like as we know it, is coming undone. Like it's unraveling our sense of stability or sense of like, this is the world, blah, 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 blah. That energy is sort of like passing through us. And it's going to be impossible for us to hold on. I think that's part of why we're seeing a rise of authenticity and teachings in the world, people accessing higher consciousness from within self and then sharing it, is that there isn't one right way. There isn't a uniformed way of being a spiritual person or being any of that. That energy is really just our like worldly egoic energy that gets transferred onto like sex, that get transferred onto um a religion or an ideology or whatever it is, right? And none of it, it's still not the truth of our presence because you can't put the truth outside of yourself. You can only be the truth that you are in any given moment. And being the truth that you are just means you being as honest as possible. Trust me, like we might think we're being honest, and then we have a whole bunch of experiences that peel back some layers, and then we look back and be like, holy hell, I wasn't being honest with myself. But then I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know how to be honest with myself because I was so entrenched in the belief that I was supposed to be this way, not this way. And then you just drop into this way and you're like, oh yeah, I remember her. I remember her totally. But then when you're in the shits, you totally feel like she's lost forever. Like when I was in the depth of shit, I just wanted to die. I wasn't thinking about one day you'll actually be happy again and you won't be seeking anything outside of yourself because you have total faith and trust. And, you'll have these free platforms that you can just share and broadcast from every single day and open your heart and beingness to receive love from people on the internet from all over the world. It's like juicy, but I couldn't have imagined it 10 years ago. I fucking didn't even know how to use YouTube 10 years ago. So there you go. You guys, I love you loads. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. And you know how this works, you guys. I really appreciate your support. I extend just to love you and support you and make you feel like it's all good and to encourage you in this awakening transformational journey. And you support me by being there, by showing up, by commenting and subscribing and reflecting back your insights, because your insights are juicy for me as well, and they often give me the feedback or the like the inspiration for different shares. So I just appreciate you. That's all. And I love you too. So have a great day, you guys. Take care. Bye.